everybody, to this week's installment of The Last Rep. I'm Bob Ciccarello. Peter McGuff has the night off, so I'm going to be gunning it alone and giving you all the results from the St. Louis Pro, which is where I just returned from. And speaking of which, I'd like to welcome a brand new sponsor, Hydrolyzed Water, to the show. They're going to be coming on board very soon, so look for their commercials and information. Big shout out to Jack and Ann Tony. They brought me down to St. Louis, assured me they would have a sold-out packed event, and that's exactly what they did. Over 700 people at the prejudging and well over 1,600 at the night show. So they really put the people in the seats in this competition. Great NPC competition, even better IFBB competition. No men at this competition, just all the women. We're going to go through those results right now. In the fitness, it was Oksana Grashina who finally put a big W on the column. Long awaited. She has some of the most highly anticipated, highly energetic routines that you've ever seen on a fitness stage. And she really came to play. She came out in this big dog costume, which just won the crowd over. And more importantly, won the judges over as well. Well-deserved. Bethany Cisternino finds herself in the runner-up position. Also very much improved. Look for these two to be battling it out in the Olympia stage this year as they take on Adela Garcia, the perennial champ, who was in attendance, came up on stage, welcomed everybody to the crowd, and said that these are some very, very good routines, and she's going to be working extra hard en route to the Olympia. It was the battle of the Jennifers in the bikini division. Jennifer Andrews defends her title for the second year in a row, wins the St. Louis Pro over Jennifer Chapman. Very good bikini competitors. Again, you'll see them on the Olympia stage. It was the women's physique that was really the talk of the weekend, though. The two perennial contenders for the title ended up being two crossover girls, neither one of them having a bodybuilding background, one a fitness background, and one a figure background. And that was the big buzzword, of course, all around the hotel and the venue, was would these girls really bring what the criteria called for when it came to women's physique? When the smoke cleared, both of them not only brought it, but ended up in 1 and 2. Michelle Blank, who comes from a fitness background, ended up injured. She was supposed to be in the Arnold Classic a couple of weeks ago, and then she was supposed to be in the St. Louis Pro on the fitness stage. She ended up pulling a calf muscle weeks before the Arnold in her preparations, and she had to pull out. But when we got to the competition, she's in great shape, so she says, you know, you think I could do women's physique? Well, of course, I pushed her right into it because she's got a phenomenal physique. She's got the background of, obviously, dance and athletics, so it seemed like a natural fit. So she threw her hat in the ring, and both girls actually have a background. They both turned professional at the same show back in 2010, so they actually helped each other prepare for this show. But it was Sarah Hurley, when the smoke cleared, who ended up on top in the winner's circle, and both girls actually absolutely fit the criteria set out for the women's physique. They were muscular, but not too muscular, in condition, both put on great routines, and represented very well. So it's Sarah Hurley who's going to be moving on, and there is no women's physique at the Olympia yet. It's not set up. Probably take a year or two. But I'll be more curious to see what Michelle Blank ends up doing, because she's a top 6 Olympian in fitness. Now, with this new birth into women's physique, is that something that we'll see her continue on throughout the year, or when she's healed up, does she go back to fitness? So we'll keep an eye out for Michelle, but congratulations to both ladies. You both look great and represented. Guest posers at the show, Mike Libatori and Kai Green, the Predator. Mike was in great shape, put on a good show for the fans. I interviewed him on stage after he came off and tried to push him into what shows he might be getting ready for this year. He was very candid in saying that he didn't really know what he wanted to do. He knows he needs to make some improvements. He wants to be competitive for the title for any show that he decides to go in, but very uncommitted when it came into what competition he'll be getting ready for and whether it would be this year or next year. So Mike taking some time off. His wife was in the show, Christina Vunic, who placed a respectable 5th in the bikini. So Mike is really just focusing on the lady of the house. Probably a smart thing to do, Mike. That brings us to the Predator. Kai Green, as usual, on his head in the middle of the stage, doing all kinds of wacky stuff, and the crowd absolutely ate it up. They love Kai Green. 286 pounds off-season Kai Green can still do the flips and the headstands and all that stuff that he's known for. And I like his routines. I mean, they're very eclectic, they're very different, but they're anything but the norm, as you heard the last word and Peter McGuff just last week talking, that he wants to see more energetic routines. He wants to see something different. He wants to see something planned and thought out and choreographed. In every routine I've ever seen Kai does, you can like it or dislike it, but the bottom line is they are choreographed, they are thought out, and he does put a lot of his artistic ability into his routines. So of course we got Kai on the microphone as he came off the stage, and of course I pressed him on what his future plans were for the Olympia. All right, Kai, the big burning question everyone here wants to know in St. Louis, can you take out the champ Phil Heath at the Olympia this year? Yes, the audience, can he take him out?
I think that I can take down Heath.
Well, the fans seem to think, though, you heard that reaction, Kai. The question is, I want to know what you think.
Well, you know, if I didn't think I could do it, I wouldn't try. So we're going to work really hard. Work even harder. We're going to pray a little bit. Yeah. We're going to kick his ass.
Very little gray area in that comment. Well done, Ty. You've progressed nicely, sir. That's not an answer I would have gotten 2-3 years ago. You sound very confident in your abilities, but you look like you're right on target to make it a good run.
We tried to do some things a little differently in the offseason. Got a chance to take some time and let some organs heal and you know, get my joints healed. And I feel good. I feel very good. I'm excited about what the new year brings, the new competitive season.
All right, you heard it here, folks. Ty kicking ass at the Olympia. One more time, the Predator, Ty Green. Interesting thing is, Kai is always known for evading the questions. He'll repeat my question to me. He'll be very coy when it comes to what his plans are or how he's going to do. But this was a different Kai Green. And Kai says, and I quote, "I'm not going there to lose. I'm going to kick Phil Heath's ass." Really, Kai? Now, this surprised the whole audience. Of course, you had the big ooh that came down from the audience when they heard that. But Kai looks like he's ready for business here. I think he knows he's got to step it up a notch if he wants to have a shot of taking out the champ. And it's going to be no easy task because Phil Heath has put a physique up there that's going to be very difficult to take down. But Kai needs to redeem himself. He hasn't come in quite on the last 2 shows. Didn't see him at the Arnold Classic this year. He took that off. So he's putting all his eggs into the Olympia basket. That's going to be really interesting to see if he can bring it and if he can bring something different enough to take out Phil Heath. You're knocking out pretty Phil. There is no question about that. So he's got to kind of go the other way. Can he be a big enough freak to take Phil out? Well, that's the question, and that's up for debate when Peter returns on the next Last Rep episode. We're going to go down that whole thing, and I'm going to debate Peter on whether the freak factor can win or whether the pretty physique is here to stay. The Australian Grand Prix was the next show up on the docket for the IFBB Pro League season. Not a deep show. Me and Peter kind of profiled that last week. Kind of jokingly, you know, we said basically Branch wins, and that's pretty much the end of it. Well, he didn't have much competition, but Mike Kefalianos actually put up a good fight, but he's not in Branch's league. And Omar Deckard finds himself in 3rd place. Congratulations to Omar, one of the genuine good guys in the sport. Now, Branch was previously qualified, so obviously he doesn't get any points awarded. But Mike Kefalianos qualifies because he was grandfathered in because this show was put out under the old rules that were put in place before the Olympia point system. So Mike Kefalianos qualifies for the Olympia, and Omar Deckard picks himself up 3 points in the new series. Now, this whole series is brand new, and we're going to break it all down here. I'm going to show you exactly how it works, why it works, and if it's a good thing or a bad thing. And we'll break it down right after these messages.
MG Supplement Superstore. Number 1.
All right, welcome back from the break. When we left, we're talking about the Olympia qualification system. Now, this is a brand new point system, a NASCAR style point system that's been put in place to basically get everything on one page when it comes to qualifications for the Olympia. The men's, the women's, bikini, I mean, you know, 212, they've all seemed to have kind of their own little way of qualifying for the Olympia, and that's because they've all come in at different times throughout the years, obviously men's open being here the longest. But times have changed and the Olympia qualifications need to change, and I think this is a good system to start with. A point system will allow for guys to compete throughout the year to gain points, and that will help the other promoters of a lot of the other IFBB Pro League shows in securing some better talent that's out there. Bottom line is this: we need a better system that's going to reward people for competing more and also reward those who have done well and won shows. This accomplishes both, in my opinion. Winners will automatically qualify. After that, it goes to a point system. Now, what we have here is a tiered system. Now, Tier 1 is the Arnold Classic. The points are 8, 7, 6, and 5. That's second to fifth. Tier 2, the Arnold Europe, and the Cheru Classic. That's the India Pro, for those not familiar. Those points are 6, 5, 4, and 3. Again, second through fifth, winner qualifies. Tier 3, the New York Pro. Points 5, 4, 3, and 2. Same thing there, second through fifth. And Tier 4 is all other Pro League shows. That would include shows like the PBW in Tampa and other shows on the circuit of that nature. Those points are 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, obviously, you get more points for the higher tier shows, and I'm assuming that that's based on the idea that these shows have been around longer, the purse is higher, and obviously the competition is tougher, so you should earn more points. The top 5 point getters will get qualified for the Olympia. So at the end of the year, when the last Pro League show is met, I assume that's around the end of August or early September, they'll add up, and whoever's got the most points, those top 5 point getters will automatically get a berth to the Olympia. So it gives everybody an equal opportunity to compete throughout the year. Now, this rule applies to all 6 classes that are at the Olympia. That's from bikini to the 212 to fitness, figure, men's open. Everything will fall under this brand new system. Now, it's going to take a year to kind of get this thing squared up because there's already shows that have qualified people that occurred after the Olympia last year and obviously up until this point. Now, those people have been grandfathered in points. So all the point standings that are available to be seen are up to date, and they were all given the respective points. Now, there are a couple of questions that this is going to bring up. What do we do in event of ties? I don't know if this has been addressed, but something we're certainly going to look into. What if there should be 8 guys that are tied in points? There's only 5 slots open for the Olympia. Will there be a tie-breaking type of a thing? I can see where a Tier 1 show obviously would give somebody an advantage, so maybe if you placed higher at a Tier 1 show, that might give you a tie-breaking ability, or if you finished higher in a successive amount of shows. But that's going to be something that has to be looked at because the point totals aren't that far apart. Tier 1, 8, 7, 6, and 5. Tier 2, 6, 5, 4, and 3. You're only talking about a 2-point differential, and it gets closer as you go down. Tier 3 and Tier 4 are only 1 point apart. So you can see very quickly that the point totals are not going to be that far, I don't think, from what we're going to see. But we'll see it unfold throughout the year. To see the current standings, you can catch all of that at the npcnewsonline.com. And of course, for all the Olympia information, MrOlympia.com. Tickets are on sale right now, and I can guarantee you they're not going to last long.
Hey guys, this is Branch Warren. Check out the MD Supplement Superstore.
All right, welcome back from the break, everyone. Well, last week, Peter McGuff had his last word, and now it's my turn. My last word is on the sense of entitlement. That seems to be the norm these days when it comes to competition. Back in the day, you played the game, you won or you lost. It was simple as that. A certain sign of the times as a new wave in school seems to be this non-confrontational, don't want to hurt anyone's feelings sort of mentality. Scores aren't kept, teams aren't formed. God forbid somebody should be tagged it, or worse, picked last. Might send them into a deep depression and counseling for the next 10 years. Now I'm seeing it in bodybuilding. Paying an entry fee only assures you the opportunity to be compared. It's not a guarantee of you making it to the finals, and certainly not of getting an award. It's called a competition for a reason. And this ain't third grade t-ball where everybody gets a crack at the bat. You pay to be judged and placed, and that may not be as well as you believe. Do yourselves and reality a favor and accept the word of the 7 judges, not your BFF, and certainly not your family. The bottom line is, my mother thinks I should have won every show I ever entered. And that's my last word.